Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. I finally made a decision. Let's get started and talk about it. And I want to say this, many of the decisions I make are not decisions most people make. I don't fit into a nice neat little box, so that's what I'm going to chat about today. I do have to tell you guys this. I know I've done a lot of personal growth type videos over the last 7 years, and many of you know that I was adopted when I was a baby. I've always wanted to fit in with the crowd. I've been a chronic people pleaser, an over talker, overthinker, over analyzer, rumination, the whole 9 yards. And it certainly hasn't served me. I've caused myself stress and other stress because of it. I have a lot of dear, wonderful family and friends that love me, and I love them, and I've got a lot of good people in my life. But I finally decided that there are some areas in my life that I need to make a decision, because this is what the old Dawn used to do, or old Money Mom, is whatever I wanted to make a decision about. Let's say it was a financial decision, a health decision, what kind of eating plan that I wanted to go on. I would want to, quote, follow the crowd, or I'd ask everybody advice. So I know a lot of people, and a lot of folks, I really believe most everybody that you ask advice, most everyone has your best interests at heart, and they want to help you. I do think that for sure. Well, I would ask all that, but guess what? You'd get all this different advice, which is kind of overwhelming. Instead of looking within and praying about it, and also seeing what's true to you and what's best for you. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of this, of decisions that I made that are very unpopular decisions, but how I have a peace about them. The first one is driving. I had so many people, well-meaning people, caring people looking for my best interests that said, hey, Dawn, you really should drive. It's a burden on your husband to have to do all the driving, which I do agree. We don't do a lot of driving, but I do agree. You're right. Having one person do that, it is kind of a burden for that person. But I really did not feel comfortable driving. I did do some driving in Dallas. The traffic has gotten way worse in the last 5 years, and I just did not feel safe. I didn't feel comfortable. I did drive when I lived in Minnesota because we lived out in the country. I didn't have a problem with that. So if I lived in a small town, I know how to drive, but it's just the traffic. And so I kept hemming back and forth. What was I going to do? Am I going to drive? And then I kept putting it off, okay? Then I thought, oh, I'm going to take driving lessons. And then I finally just sat down, thought about it, and I decided I don't want to drive. And then I looked into all the other alternatives that I could do instead of driving. I work from home a lot. I also can do Uber, which we now have access to. And I figured out, and even the cost analysis of owning a car versus Uber. So say if my husband passed away, what would I do? I'd order groceries online. I work from home most of the time. I Uber to some of the things that I need. And I figured out the cost of doing that versus owning a car. And it comes in a little bit cheaper doing the Ubering versus owning and maintaining a car. And so I would do that. There's always options. Many people disagree with my decision to do that. I actually have a lot of people. And guess what? I'm okay with that. And that's what I want to leave you with, is that if you have a decision to make, whether it's financial, a relationship decision, any personal health decision, and let's say you're doing something that's unconventional or something that doesn't fit into, quote, the norm, but you feel really good about that decision, you do what works for you and do not worry about what others think, because you're living this life. My next one is my eating plan. You guys know, and I've talked about it a lot, I've done all different kind of eating diets, and a lot of them were very effective. I lost quite a bit of weight. Say low carb, I really did well on that, but I would kind of miss some of my favorite foods, and I would go back to bad habits. So I did research, and I kind of dabbled with OMAD, which means 1 meal a day. I eat what I want. I'm not doing low carb, but I don't overeat, okay? So I'm not gorging, but I eat enough to really get me full because I'm a volume eater, and I really enjoy doing that. OMAD is something that most people don't do, and it wouldn't fit with their lifestyle, and that's okay. I am loving it, and it's the end of October. I've lost close to 40 pounds, and I'm really enjoying it and thriving, but it doesn't fit into other people's, values, and that's okay. Also, relationships, finances, I won't go into examples on everything, but I'm really thinking about what works for me, what works for our family, making a decision and sticking with it and not explaining it to anybody and just doing what works best for me. So let me know what you guys think. Do you sometimes have a hard time making decisions and you seek advice elsewhere? You know what? Sit down with yourself, think about what works for you, write out pros, cons, and make a decision that reflects your values. I think you'll be really happy with that. Let me know what you guys think of this discussion. I always love to hear from you. I love you, I appreciate you, and I sure hope to see you on tomorrow morning's video. Bye-bye, everybody.